오늘의 일기. Wait, I got into there. Hold on. Hold on. There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you for the check-in, Grimlock. Hi, everyone. This is another episode. I hope you guys are all good. But hey, I hope everyone is good. Happy Sunday and welcome back to another episode of HR Connect, everyone, the podcast where we talk about work life, adulting, and all the wild wisdom we learn while trying to survive both. I'm your Isekai HR boss, Alina May, and today we're hanging out with someone who knows exactly what it's like to juggle career shifts, full-time work, grad school, and even being a creator all at once. So our guest for today is Caleb Vascuris. He's a storyteller, a writer, a VTuber, and of course a former paralegal turned science grad student. Yes, he actually lived a multiple life. Yeah. So if you've ever felt burnout, stuck, or just wondering what the heck you're doing with your life, well, this episode's gonna hit you home. And so I hope you guys are ready for our guest. Yeah, he had multiple identities. Yeah, he's been busy, he's been busy with life. He's been busy with life. I hope you guys are I hope you guys are all excited, and thank you so much for everyone who've been following. Everyone from Caleb's community, I welcome you guys to our HR Connect. I hope you guys are all into this. I'm really excited to talk to Caleb about all the things he's been doing so far, and I hope you guys too. So let me undeafen here so you guys can hear him. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And for you guys to there we go. I think you guys can hear him. So without further ado, everyone, here's Caleb Vascuris. Let's go. There you go. Look at that.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
There you go. Look at that amazing avatar, everyone. You guys see that? Amazing. Very good.
I love this art. I love this I love this new model. So
yeah, welcome everyone. So I'd like to welcome you guys to HR Connect. Adulting advices and anything under the sun. We have Caleb Vascuris here. Yay! Can you tell us more about yourself, Caleb? Can you introduce yourself, please?
yeah, of course. So my name's Caleb Vascuris. I am your resident Demon King. I am the founder of the Royal Archives, and I wear many hats, as Elena has put it. IRL, I have recently left my job as a full-time criminal defense paralegal in order to focus and pursue my focus on library and information sciences, because I'm interested in working in libraries, archives, and museums. I am also a writer. While I have not published anything yet, I am in the process of actually working on stuff to get ready for publishing, or at least putting it out there online for people to read. One thing I am working on and hoping to get published here soon is a collection of poetry that I wrote. Another is an actual full-length novel that I'll probably be releasing in chapters first online, and then compiling it together to release into a final edited version. And the other thing too is, if you need a writer or an editor, I am your man. If you're looking for somebody who to look over your scripts or your writing, feel free to hit me up. I am more than happy to help you guys out with your writing, and or be a ghostwriter for you.
Yay! I from what I remember as well, you do your writing on stream sometimes. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys should tune in. Let me go ahead and pin Caleb's socials here. So if you guys want to follow Caleb, he's here right here. Let me pin it. There you go. So you can follow him on Twitch. He streams, of course, and full socials is going to be on his card. So go ahead and follow our royal archivist and former paralegal right here.
Yeah.
I absolutely recommend commissioning Caleb. What? You got commissioned already? That's so cool.
Yes. I worked with Selly on a little project that she wanted my help on, and it was wonderful to work on it. And she really enjoyed the process and really enjoyed the poem and the story that I wrote.
Ooh. I'm really curious about the novel that you're trying to write. I believe you've got chapters already, right? You already got chapters that you're working with.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm working on like a couple of different novels right now. For the ones that I want to actually like publish, there's three. So one is actually Caleb's story, my story. It
Good
is
lore.
it is the how I ended up where I ended up, the journeys that I've went on, the whole hero's journey, right? From being, a young man to, being a full-grown, full-fledged demon king, right?
Let's go.
Another is it's sort of like a cozy fantasy, mind you, with a little bit of spice, because I'm an adult here. I'm gonna write, stories about adults, and
Of course.
and it's about basically a hero who retired and is looking for a new life away from being a hero and being and away from all the troubles that come with nobility and all that kind of stuff. So he's going back and rebuilding his hometown, and he's got a new chance at life and a new chance at new relationships. So that's one. And the other one I haven't really talked about much, but I have written quite a bit. It's a sci-fi story, and this one is, again, another it's another slight kind of spicy, not super spicy, but this one deals with basically humanity has left Earth, and they have found alien life on a lot of alien, like a bunch of different aliens out there. And it now comes like the issues, like, well, what happens, what kind of stuff happens when, humanity is trying to be a part of this new intergalactic community, and also how people can kind of suck sometimes. And, you don't necessarily have to be friends with people of the same species, and you can like make new friends. And find new relationships outside of the people that you would normally expect to find relationships in.
Exactly. So cool. I haven't read a lot of sci-fis, but that's such a cool concept. Like, be trying to mingle with other species and basically trying to reconstruct another society, basic. That's so cool. Frosty here has a question. What's ghostwriting?
What's ghostwriting? So ghostwriting is where you will hire somebody to write for you. Basically, if you give me an idea, you give me a word limit, and I will write something for you. Now, depending on how you want to credit the situation, you could say you wrote it, and I won't say anything about it, but it all comes down to, like, an agreement between you and I other times you can just say it's like, oh, I just hired this person to write something because it's related to, like, let's say you're a VTuber and you want me to write your VTuber lore for you. I could do that for you. I can iron out all the kinks and write like a full-fledged story that you can use as part of your VTuber lore. Things like that. It just depends on like how do you want to approach it. Do you want to take all the credit for it, or do you only want me to make the idea for you and you'll give me credit for it?
I hope that answers your question, Frosty. I love reading, so like I applaud writers a lot. Cause like for me, it's hard to construct a story, guys. It's hard to construct a story. So like everyone who actually knows how to write and like, you know, have a full-fledged story writing, that's amazing. Organizing your thoughts is hard, by the way.
Yeah, and as a writer, it's hard too because, you know, just sometimes the ideas are kind of weird and you put them onto paper and they don't make sense at first, but you try and try again.
Exactly. So to all the writers out there, oh my god, you guys are amazing. Kudos. Keep writing, especially the ones who write fanfics. Please do not stop writing. I'm still reading all your stuff.
Speaking of fanfic, really quick, I want to give a shout out to Grimlock Broggy, who's here in chat, by the way. He is one of my VTuber siblings. He is my little brother.
Hi.
And he actually he writes a lot of fan fiction as well as published his own book and is in the process of publishing his second book. So I give a lot of shout out and credit to Broggy because of all the work that he's put out there, and it's all really good from what I've been reading so far.
Ooh, what fanfics is he in?
So he has written a lot of Bleach fanfic, which is beautiful for me because I love Bleach. And one for something I have no idea about. It is Ruby. I know very little. Yeah, I know very little about Ruby. And basically, Broggy is reading his fanfic where he fixes Ruby.
Wow, wait, I think I know people who actually likes Ruby. One of them is one of my friends. It's Oreo. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Something to share. I will. I will recommend Grim, and for sure Oreo would be happy. Oh my god. He's been scraping content about Ruby. I think oh my god. And I think Frosty, you love Ruby as well, right? Oh my god, people, small world, people coming in with same interests. I swear. Let's go. Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, I hope you guys check out Grim. This is the time. Frost keeps spoiling himself. He just can't help it. He just can't help it, feathers. But yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am very, very curious to what other things Caleb here is doing. I'm pretty sure you guys are too. So let's go start asking some questions. Are you guys ready? So if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to put it on chat. We'll get into it after Caleb answers my questions first. Of course, I'm the priority. No.
It is your show, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah, keep him coming. Keep him coming if you have questions right there. Okay. Let me start with this question. So, I'm pretty sure a lot of people here are curious about what paralegal means, and you know what you do there in the law firm. So let's ask this: what's something about working in criminal law that people get totally wrong first? And can you tell us what you did as a paralegal as well, please?
Yeah, of course. So what a paralegal is, it is somebody who now it can change from office to office depending on what the office needs, but typically a paralegal is one of the assistants for an attorney. Now they can be the only assistant for the attorney, and they can also work as like a secretary.
Mm-hmm.
In my job, I was both a secretary and a paralegal. So um, where the secretary part of the job was where I was managing the calendar, I was printing stuff out for the attorney, mailing it out to the clients, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then the paralegal side of it is the more legal part of the job where I would look through what's called disclosure. And those are like the police reports and the videos and the photos. And I would look through all of that and I would double check it with our system and I would make sure that there are no conflicts. One of the most important things about being a paralegal is to check for potential conflicts of interest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big things. And as a paralegal, the other thing I did was I would help the attorneys file motions. I would file pleadings. Sometimes I would even write them myself.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of what being a paralegal is basically taking a lot of like the annoying legal part of the work away from the attorney and basically letting the attorney focus on being an attorney and making arguments and things like that.
I see. I didn't know that you have to also check out the files as well. So you've oh my god, I'm pretty sure you saw some things for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my
And that
god.
goes into
Mm-hmm.
what's like going into criminal law, like a lot of people get wrong. Like I'll always say this. It's like I feel like true crime is kind of BS because of how it presents, because true crime is trying to present a very like a big story for everybody, but it's not really like that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that a lot of people might think is like we go to trial all the time. No, not really. I think in my 5 years of being an attorney, I probably only went to trial like maybe 4 times because the attorneys, more often than not, the clients would take a plea. Like
Mm-hmm.
90% of the cases we'd have would be resolved via pleas. And so, and most of the time there is no really big story being told with what's going on in criminal law. It's usually very kind of just very simple. It's like, okay, did this guy do this? Did this guy say this? Then kind of makes him look bad. It's like, and usually, and here's the thing. It's there's the reason why the saying only the stupid criminals get caught, right? Because typically, yeah, some of the stuff that's happened where people get caught by the police and things like that, it's usually pretty dumb, and then they end up saying some stuff that just makes the thing worse. It is why I say, at least if you live in the United States, I'm not sure about any everywhere else in the world, but typically in the United States, you do not want to talk to the police if they are holding you. If they're holding you under arrest, you just shut your mouth, because 9 times out of 10, somebody will say something that will make them look bad, and just like how it is in the United States, it will be used against you, and you have like no case at it. You have like no chance of actually taking a case to trial.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's why they always say like you have the right to remain silent, right? So just keep silent.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You have like again, coming from somebody who's worked in this,
Mm-hmm.
shut up.
Also, I think it's basically logical as well, because like in the height of emotions of really like especially the arrest,
Mhm.
that's gonna be you're gonna be emotional, so
Exactly.
you're
Yes.
gonna be saying something for sure. So oh my god, okay, well that's a good tip, everyone. That's a good tip. Just shut up and wait for your lawyer. just
Exactly. Shut up and wait for your lawyer. Yes.
just go with them for the meantime. I mean, for sure,
Mhm.
because they're gonna be locking you up, right? Because you still have the interrogation, right? That happens.
It depends really, because so interrogation and arrest and booking are all different sorts of things.
Mm.
So under arrest, doesn't mean you'll actually like be booked into a jail, because you
Mm.
can be placed under arrest and then the cops can decide whether or not they're going to put you in jail or they'll just release you out.
Oh.
So the typical step is like, if a police officer believes you have committed a crime, they'll talk to you, they'll say you're under arrest, they'll say the whole thing of like you have the right to remain silent, yada yada yada, all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, then they'll decide, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and take you in. We're gonna we can either take you into the jail, or all right, so you're no longer under arrest, I'm going to let you go. And so it just depends, but more often than not, if a cop does believe you have committed a crime, then you will probably maybe 7 times out of 10 you'll probably be put in jail, at
They
least
will
for a little
detain.
bit, until your initial hearing, and then they'll decide whether or
Oh.
not to let you go or not.
Mostly in TVs, like they would always detain the person when they arrest them most of the time. Unless
Yeah,
yeah, go.
go, no, go for it.
Unless like they'll be going to jail, and then there will be
Mhm.
like on a table, right? And then they will be like waiting for the lawyer to come in. Is it still how it usually goes in, or
Uh, no, actually. So typically,
oh.
unless you have a lawyer on the phone,
Mm.
like if you could call somebody up and they're a lawyer and they can come by. Typically, what happens is, if the cop believes if you committed a crime, they'll book. Let's say they'll book you into the jail. You'll sit in jail for about maybe a day or two, and then you'll see a judge. Then the judge will be like, okay, well, all right, we're gonna go ahead and assign you an attorney if you don't have one already, and we're gonna go ahead and set the next court date. And then from there, the judge will also say, it's like, okay, well, your bond is so much money, like let's say like $10,000. Your bond is $10,000. If you can post that, then you're free to go, right? But you still need to go to court.
Yeah.
Um, and so most people will not talk to their actual assigned attorney maybe until about like 3 to 5 days, more or less. Again, it depends on where you are in the United States, how big the area is, and things like that. But yeah, it's you typically won't find an attorney unless you're rich enough to have an attorney on call, basically.
I see. I thought like everything happens in like just a few hours, but it takes days. What?
It actually
Crazy.
takes longer. So some
Oh.
cases, e- um, like probably the shortest time frame I've had for a case has probably been like 2 months. Is like the shortest time frame from somebody getting arrested, them getting the charges, and then them pleading guilty and taking the plea. It's about 3 months. It takes a long time, at least in the
Wow.
United States.
I see. I guess that's I think that also works here. It takes it
Mhm.
takes it takes months, but like the arresting stuff, it takes like a few hours. But like the
Yeah.
detaining, that's the one that takes days. That's
Yeah, detaining can take days. Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. Celis here has a question. Did any of your tasks as a paralegal help with your current career path?
I would say yes, because a lot of my job is very administrative. So I have a really good idea of like what a work process should look like. I have a really good idea of like scheduling and time management, things like that. It's a lot of like now a lot of the skills directly, maybe not like I don't think I'm going to be filing motions as a librarian,
Mm.
but like at least understanding like workflow and prioritizing projects and things like that. That's the stuff that my current job has really really, or well, my previous job has helped out, and I think will work well from when I go and try to become a librarian or work at a museum or whatever.
I see. I see. That I hope that answers your questions, Alice. If you guys have any more questions, again, just keep them coming. Let me snooze this ad break right here.
Yeah, good idea.
But yeah, I think that's amazing. Anything else that you see people get wrong in terms of criminal law?
You know what? More often than not, like everybody likes to look at that anybody who commits a crime as like a criminal, like they're heartless people and and all this other kinds of stuff, but not really. Like some of the people, like they're people, right? So
Yeah.
some of them can be kind of pathetic, like they're just weirdos down on their luck, or they're just weirdos for one reason or another. Other people are just unlucky, and they're really nice and they feel really bad about doing whatever it is happened. And then other times, yeah, they're kind of assholes, and they're just really they're just terrible people to try to work with. It really just depends. Just because you have a case open, and even just because you might have like a misdemeanor or a felony even, I am not going to assume that you are a bad person, because I've met some people that I feel really sad for, but also there are people that I've met that also are complete assholes, and they kind of deserve what they got.
That's true. That's true. I mean, some were like just misaccused, right?
Well, funnily enough, I never got many of those cases. I only got one that was like that. Yeah. But the thing is, what happened here was he was misaccused for sexual assault. And thankfully we were ready to go to trial on the case, and we were ready to drag the girl down, because it turns out the girl is a big fat liar, right?
Oh my god.
And basically what the story that we kind of pieced together from talking to her friends and talking to our client, and we even found her criminal records too. We basically have found out that like she basically ditched her little brother to go hang out and go have fun with this guy, with our client. And because she ditched her little brother, and then the next day she was supposed to hang out with her parents, she felt bad, and she was like trying to come up with an excuse for what happened. And so the guy thankfully did not take a sexual assault charge. We were really happy about that. But because he did film it, he did get a misdemeanor charge. But I mean, it's a misdemeanor, it's not a felony or anything like that. So thankfully, he gets to live his life. He didn't go to jail or anything like that. But that was like the only case that I personally worked on where the person was unfairly charged, and because the girl was basically just trying to cover her own ass for ditching her little brother.
Oh my god. What an excuse though. What the heck? That's a crazy excuse. What? Just to get your ass saved. What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was bad.
All odds against you type. I think it's too much for an excuse for someone accusing someone for sexual assault. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I hope you guys, learn something about that. Again, one thing, shut up.
Yeah, one thing, shut up.
That will help you. Okay, stay silent and think. Okay, there.
Yep, exactly. Think before you say anything. Think before you act.
Yes, shut up and call a lawyer. Exactly. Or wait. Just wait until they gave you one, if ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Next question, going back to,
Mhm.
still in paralegal. So we did say that you have that you wear many hats, right?
Mhm.
You're a writer, also doing your studies as well. And you recently said that you recently quit being in a paralegal firm as well.
Mhm.
So why did you leave law, and how did you know it was time to try something new?
So this kind of is a little bit of a two-part question, or yeah, two-part like answer from me because I decided that I wanted to leave law not long after I started actually because
Oh.
when I one of the first conversations I had with the other paralegal that was training me, I
Mhm.
asked her, "Hey, what do pay raises look like here at the office?" And she laughed in my face.
Oh, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, she told me that,
Mhm.
or she told me that apparently you can work at the office for all your life, 15, 12, 10, or you can work there a long time, and the county would not raise your hourly pay by all that much. None of the paralegals, and some of those paralegals have been there for like 15 plus years,
What?
none of the paralegals ever made it close to earning the top amount that is stated by the county. So that was one reason. I found out
Oh.
that like yeah, I was not gonna earn a lot of money with this job, which sucks because I want to move out and live on my own and all that kind of stuff, and I couldn't do that
True.
on a paralegal salary.
That
Um,
sucks. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah,
It's like there's no
and
growth from the very
yeah,
start. Mhm.
yeah, it was really bad. And um, and the when was trying to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do, I
Mhm.
decided to go into like library sciences,
Mhm.
um and I was kind of like holding off on it. I didn't know like when would be a good time to start my master's degree program and all that.
Mhm.
And it wasn't and this is a little sappy on my end, but
Mhm.
I I got into a relationship with somebody, and
Mhm.
and at the time I was still kind of on the fence about it until I met her, and we started talking, and we were and I was like, in my head, that was like the moment that I decided like I want to pursue my master's degree program because I want to be able to earn a good income for uh, that like that we can help live together on, right?
Yeah.
Because mind you, she was also somebody who was working full time and everything too.
Mhm.
Um, but I wanted to, I wanted to be able to contribute more to this relationship than just being a paralegal, right? Because depending
Mhm.
on where I would move to, paralegal jobs sometimes did not earn much more than what I was already making where I was at the time. And
True.
so I decided to leave law and pursue library sciences because I was like, I want to pursue something that'll make me a little happier to be a part of, and also to do something that would benefit me and my partner at the time. And she was the biggest reason why I decided to go into my master's degree program, because she encouraged me. And it's one of those really hard things to talk about because stuff
Yeah.
afterwards was really weird and really problematic.
Mhm.
And so but I kept with it. I didn't quit after all that weirdness. I kept up with my master's degree program, so I could graduate now in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, just a couple of weeks? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
god. I'm so excited for you. Also, um
Thank you.
also I'm just a bit curious as well. How did you come across your degree right now? Because
Mhm.
library and information sciences, that's very new for me. That's the first time I heard about it. How did you come
Yeah.
across it?
So I decided like one day I was just kind of like looking around, and I was like, well, I kind of want to look for a job that was not as stressful as being a paralegal, because being a paralegal is very stressful in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I wanted like a more chill job. And
Mm.
so and I just looked on Google like jobs for introverts basically.
What?
And
Really? Oh my god.
yeah, that's how I did it. And I was like, and then and they mentioned, you know, being a librarian is a very, or being an archivist is are very chill jobs, because you don't need to work with a lot of people. You're often on your own, things like that, or you're working with very small teams, things like
Mm.
that. And then and yeah, it was just one of those things that I'm like, okay, you know what, that kind of vibes with what I'm going for, because it's like, you know, I wouldn't mind a job where I'm like working in a quiet environment for the most part, or working in a job that doesn't have me working, or that doesn't have me dealing with the same kind of people that I was dealing with at my office as well.
New people to meet every day.
Exactly, new people, and people that also want to be where they're at, right? If people
Yeah.
are coming to the library, they want to be there. They want to go check out books, or check out a movie, or talk to
Mm.
somebody about the books that they're reading and things like that.
That's so. That's actually a um good reasoning as well. Also, I like libraries. Books are fun. They're really fun.
Right?
I love reading. And books takes you to many places too. It's just your
Exactly.
imagination. Yeah. That's a cool way. Also, these guys, at least now you now have another option of what you
Hmm.
like to have. If you're an introvert, this is another this is a degree that you might be interested in. If you like books, maybe this is the degree for you.
Exactly. If you wanna be a manager of a library, if you want to be a director of a museum, go into
Ooh.
this. Mind you, things are a little sketchy right now, at least in the United States. But from what I've heard, like when you get the job, like at a nice library, or when you get the job at a museum or an archive,
Mm-hmm.
it's just really good work.
Cool. And you'll be surrounded by really interesting stuff as well.
Yeah,
Imagine being a
exactly.
director of a museum, bro. That's
That would be
gonna be
so
so
cool.
cool. Exactly. Oh my god. Imagine looking at stuff you've never seen before. What? Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't even know that there was a particular degree for that. Now we know. Now we know. We are learning. We're learning.
Yep, I learned a lot these last three years.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, tying that up with, so you did say earlier that you mentioned that there was really no growth from the start when you started the paralegal. When you started your job as a paralegal.
Hmm.
So how did you know that it was the time already that okay, I need to is it your time with your previous girlfriend that made you say that okay, my situation needs to change because we need to live together, or like is that how it come up when you have to try something new, when you decided to really change?
Yeah, exactly. It was basically like I want to put myself in a good position, so
Mm-hmm.
um that way once I'm done with school and all that stuff, and I can try to get a job, and that again that would have let me and my previous girlfriend, we would have been able to like live comfortably on at the time and
Mm-hmm.
all that. Like that was just my first and foremost thought, because it was just like, you know what, you know I want to put myself into a better situation for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the meme from The Simpsons where it's
Which
like
one?
do it for her. That's bas-
Ah.
that's kind of like what I that's kind of like my initial inspiration to go into
Mm.
my degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, it was just like
You fell in love
after
with your
we
degree after.
yeah, I fell in love with the degree, and then it was like, and after we had broken up, I was like, fuck it, I already started. I can't. I'm not gonna quit now because I am not a. I don't like quitting if I can avoid it. I
You're
like
not a
to keep.
quitter.
I am not a quitter. No, I like to.
Yes,
I like to. At least um, keep up with what I'm doing and finish it until the end.
amazing, amazing. Don't be a quitter, guys. Even if at least at that time, it gave you an idea to broaden your horizons as well. So you can
Exactly.
have your better opportunities for yourself as well. Because if you're
Mhm.
stuck in a place where you think there's no growth, then I think it's time to shake things up, right?
Exactly.
For corporate as well, I think that's something that a lot of people um would be relating on to, especially
Hmm.
especially in corporate too. There are times that you're stuck in a role for what 1 to 2 years. That's
Hmm.
unacceptable. You should start to dream to getting more, have a better motivation in getting opportunities. So it will be beneficial to you because it will increase your salary, but at the same time you're learning and growing as a person.
Exactly, yeah. Because the other thing too is like there wasn't really like much else that I could do at the office because the
Mm.
only other thing that I could do after that point was try to become a supervisor for the paralegals,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't because all of those positions were already taken.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
there was just no movement there. And
Mm-hmm.
sure, I could have done like other stuff to be like more fulfilled. Like I could have done all of like the weekend events that they had for helping people with their with like filing stuff,
Yeah.
but I wasn't getting paid for that. And I live an hour away from my office. Um,
That's so far
and
away.
so yeah, it was it's 50 miles one way, and I'm like, yeah, no, if the job is not putting money into my pocket to give a damn about it,
Mm-hmm.
why am I going to go out of my way and not get paid to help do stuff, right?
Yeah, I would.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Not worth the effort at that point.
exactly, not worth
Yeah.
the effort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good thing. Celis here again has a question. Um,
Hmm.
so before you left law, what was one of the most memorable moments or days on the job as a paralegal?
Yeah, okay, yeah, there's a couple of different things like that. So I got a few. So the office, with it being criminal law, you kind of have to have a very dark sense of humor because if you don't, the job will kill you. Because it gets very very stressful dealing with the type of people that we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So we were almost always laughing and joking with one another. It was always a good time. I like Halloween, we would decorate the office for Halloween, we would decorate it for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
all that kinds of stuff. It was always a good time. Um, and but I think some of like the funniest moments though, what actually happened once at a trial. So we had a person who was driving under the influence of methamphetamine,
What?
and
Wait, that's.
yeah,
Oh my god.
and here's the funny thing, like at the end of it, by the way, he got
Mm-hmm.
away with not guilty.
What? Really?
Yeah,
How? That's that.
because
That's a crazy job. What? What?
it's because he was pulled over
Mm-hmm.
for speeding.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't pulled over for driving
In.
driving recklessly. He wasn't like swerving or anything like that. He was just speeding, and not even by that much. But he was this
Oh.
old guy. He was this old guy, and he was this old biker. By the way, he was driving a motorcycle. He was this old biker,
Mm-hmm.
and he kept falling asleep during the trial. And like me, so at the table it was three people. It was the attorney on the guy's left side, the
Mm-hmm.
guy, our client in the middle, and then me on the right side. And every time we saw him like drop his head, we kept like punching his leg because he wouldn't respond to nudges. So we had to like punch his leg to wake him up and be like, dude, wake up, man.
Oh my
And
god.
I don't know how the jury did not see that, because like it was nuts. So, but yeah, we just like for like 2 days out of the trial, we just kept punching this guy in the leg in order to make sure he was staying awake.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And like, wouldn't he be like, when you suddenly wake up, you kind of like jerk out and like, oh, what's happening? Does he not do that? What the heck?
He didn't. He would just kind of like lift his head, be like, I'm fine, and
Oh
then
my
just like try to
god.
listen to like I don't know. I don't know how he got away with a not guilty, but he got away with a not guilty. And and we know this guy. Like you look at this guy and you know he's on drugs. Like he's been on drugs for all his life. And the moment he got the not guilty, he hopped on his motorcycle and drove away.
What? That's so
Yeah.
crazy. How the heck? I guess he got immune too much because of
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
God.
And the other thing too is so it's really easy to tell when somebody is impaired with alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm,
Um,
yeah.
but the things that made it really hard to tell if this guy was impaired was he walked with a limp already. Like one of his legs was already messed up. Before we started punching him, one of his legs was already messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he was old and he was overweight, and so he had a lot of things not going well for him. So you couldn't really tell that he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And the thing is, with anything but alcohol, you need to prove impairment by like if they're swerving in their car or if they're like falling over, because you can't really because we don't have there's no standard for impairment basically. So like here in the United States, if your blood comes back at a 0.08, that's sort of like the universal standard for impairment. The cops can be like, you have enough alcohol in your system to impair your driving, you're gonna get a DUI. But because we don't really know what the standard would be for methamphetamine, for marijuana, and things like that, you can't really be like, oh, well, he had so many parts per million of like meth in his blood, but like that doesn't prove impairment. He just had methamphetamine in his blood. It's just like, well, how do we know that's impairing him? How do we like all that kind of stuff? So there was a lot of questions here, and again, that helped with getting the guy off of the charges.
That's so crazy how he got himself up, to be honest. Like
I know, it was
just
crazy.
getting there. What the heck? Oh my god, that's kind of like amazing, but like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. Also test validity as I think you guys, I think there's a lot of tests that you have to do. Also, I think he got away in terms of, because like it's not the correct crime that he's into. He's just into
Yeah.
speeding technically. So like
Yeah.
so I don't think he's gonna be, if he was charged with a different, charge, I think that would make him guilty. But like,
Yeah.
if he was just it was just a speeding ticket, so like
Exactly.
what more?
Yeah.
Crazy. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that question, Celis. Well, I guess now we know. Now we have a a crazy story, most memorable maybe. Is this your most memorable one, or just the craziest?
That's one of them. I have a lot more because and I'm looking at your list right now because I got a couple more in me that are like pretty fucking crazy.
Do you want to share one more? I think
Yeah.
we're up to one more, right, guys? I think we're up to one more.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the by far one of the craziest clients we ever had. Mind
Mhm.
you, I don't know how she didn't get a felony for what she was doing. So this lady, she was charged or she had like basically like 8 different cases open with a total of like, yeah, 8 different cases open with like a total number of charges in like the 30s, like because you can have one case but have like multiple charges in it.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
had she had like 30 something plus charges in total. This lady was fucking bonkers because she was basically doing here in Arizona, if you have basically an order of protection, basically telling somebody you can't come near me,
Oh
if
yeah.
it's,
Mm.
yeah, a restraining order, especially if that person is a family member, and if
Mhm.
you break that restraining order, that technically counts as domestic violence.
Ooh.
And so basically what this woman was doing is she was completely and utterly insane. She believed that her daughter was being like trafficked by the government to for some really crazy stuff, and she was mondo fucking nuts. And she would go into jail for like for a new case. She would stay in jail for a few days,
Mhm.
and probably get off whatever drugs she was on, and then one of her boyfriends would get her out, and
Mhm.
she would get back on the drugs. She would do this again. She would go harass her mom and her daughter, and then she would be put back into jail. And she was so angry and so crazy. She would call the office probably like 20 times in a week. um yeah, she was absolutely fucking nuts. And she kept saying all this stuff about like the government's after me. The government knows that I know about their CP ring. I know that they're stealing kids and sending them off to be used as slaves and all this other kinds of stuff. And we were like, girl, you are absolutely nuts.
Oh
Because
my god.
none of the stuff that she was saying was like, you cannot prove it. She was absolutely nuts.
Mhm.
um and and one day she called me, because normally she would just call the attorney, but the attorney wasn't there.
Mhm.
And one day
Mhm.
she was calling me, and she immediately started screaming in my ear, telling me that
What?
I wasn't doing my job, that we weren't doing what we were supposed to.
Mhm.
And I told
Mhm.
her, Miss, I can help answer your questions to the best of my ability, but like I'm not going to sit here and let you yell at me. So you either can chill out, stop yelling at me, or I'm going to hang up. And she proceeded to yell at me. So I was like, okay, bye. And I hung up on her. And every time after that, I kept telling she would call me, and she would say, well, I need to talk to my attorney, or like I need to say, or I'm going to say some crazy shit. I'm like, no, you're going to stop yelling, and I'll gladly take a message for you. And most often than not, she would be like, she would keep yelling at me, so I would just hang up. And this happened for like a solid probably like a solid like 6 months.
6 months?
Because 6 months we dealt with this woman,
Oh my
because she just kept picking up new cases. And here's the thing: in Arizona, once you get convicted for a third domestic violence charge,
Mhm.
the third charge will be a felony automatically, and every charge after that. But I don't know how she got away with not catching felonies after like the fourth or fifth case, but she got really lucky. The judge was really nice. she ended up like going to jail for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a long time now. I'm not sure what has happened to her, but she is by far one of the craziest women that I ever encountered. I'm glad she never came to the office, because if she came to the office, she probably would have started like screaming and yelling at the top of her lungs.
Oh my god. Also, imagine
Yeah,
dealing with that for 6 months. Solid six
yeah,
months.
yeah. And I
That's.
felt so bad for like the grandma and
Uh-huh.
the daughter, because the client's mom, one of the victims, she would call the office every once in a while, and we would
Yeah.
have to tell her, it's like, hey, you know, we're the office representing your daughter, and you're a victim in this case, and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, oh yes, I know, but I just want to say I'm really sorry for, you know, everything that's going on. And it's like, lady, you don't need to apologize for your daughter acting like a nut job. It's not your fault that your daughter is all messed up.
Oh
And
my god.
I felt really bad, because it's just like the girl wanted to be with her mom, but like the girl
Mm.
also knew that her mom was fucking crazy.
Oh my god. I'm just a bit curious, why wasn't she like um she should have gotten into like a psych, probably, like at that point, because that's like not normal behavior, right?
Uh, well, that's the thing. That's one of the biggest problems in like in criminal law. That one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is just like the biggest issue with like mental health issues
Yeah.
are not really like are not really taken seriously. So like
Mm.
if you are so mentally ill that you cannot understand what the judge is telling you, that's one way to get out of it. But the thing is, this lady understood the whole process. She just had like these wild delusions. Um,
Oh.
and so she was just so high on drugs, and she was just so crazy, but like apparently not crazy enough. But the thing is, the other thing too is there aren't services like that anymore
Mm-hmm.
that really like will hold on to people like
Yeah.
um because if like let's say you go to rehab or you go for anything,
Mm-hmm.
um most places can't keep you if you decide to go. You can be super freaking crazy, you can be off your rocker, but the moment you say I want to get out of here,
They would just
you
let you.
they'll just let you out. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's kind of sad. She clearly needs help, but
Hmm.
yeah, apparently not enough crazy to be, to be in there, sadly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so crazy. Yeah, imagine.
Hmm.
I can't. That's probably gonna make me. Oh my god, what's this? What's wrong with this lady? Oh my god, it's gonna be dreadful, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
every other week for those 6 months, we were like, "Oh, she's got a new case. What happened this time?" And lo and behold, she was yelling at grandma, and like, "Oh, geez,
my god.
yeah, it was really bad."
Well, at least you don't have to deal with that anymore, which is,
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
finally not. Oh my god. Enough with the not cases, not job cases. Okay. Oh my
That was
god.
another one of those moments too, where it's like,
Mm.
yeah, I don't want to deal with crazy people anymore. Thank you.
Oh my god, this is for our mental health. Enough is enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those wonderful, crazy stories, Caleb.
Of course, you're welcome.
Okay, let's dive into our next question right here. I think I have a similar question for that one, so I'm just gonna erase it because we already answered it. Um
Of course.
yeah, but this time, um since you're also streaming and you've already left the paralegal,
Mhm.
paralegal job, what's one thing uh that streaming gave you that your old job didn't? Like right now, I can see there's a lot, but can you tell me anything specific for you?
Yeah. So streaming gave me an opportunity to be creative. Like, I've always been a very creative person, in
Mm-hmm.
one way, shape, or form. And I just and I started streaming in like the middle of the pandemic, right? So I wasn't going out anywhere, and I just wanted a way to share the stuff that I find interesting,
Mm-hmm.
um, with people. Because for anybody that has watched my content, or for anybody that's new and interested in what I do, I like talking about the difficult subjects, right? Because I feel like as streamers, while it's nice to get away from everything that's crazy out in the world, it's also important for streamers to kind of like stand up and say stuff that is, and take a stance on stuff, like not to be afraid of like being an actual person,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the thing. It's like I really needed an outlet to really be myself, and streaming gave me that. And it's part of the reason why, again, I still keep up with, like, I talk about serious topics. I'm also like super political too,
Mm-hmm.
because like I believe that everybody should have a good life. Nazis are kind of assholes, right? Like that's the whole thing, is like,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that, like, my whole, like, some of my political opinions are apparently like wrong in the VTuber community, I'm like, nah, dude, I'm gonna keep up with this. It, like, being a VTuber and streaming, and but also just kind of like being myself, is always a lot of fun, because it's like I don't care if people don't agree with me. And I Because at the end of the day, it's like I know what kind of person you are if you say, well, like, oh, VTubers shouldn't talk about politics, or it's like, or why are you letting the VTuber who's wearing a Nazi uniform get away with that, but you're getting mad at me because I say Black Lives Matter, or like Free Palestine and things like that. Like, what?
Oh,
And
mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's my whole thing. It's like streaming gave me an opportunity to really be myself and channel my creativity, but also channel the message that I want to be positive about, that everybody should be welcomed. Nobody should be left. Nobody should feel unsafe anywhere, that I can that I can provide a space where people can be creative and be safe and express their thoughts. Right.
Mm-hmm. True, true. Also, like, in the VTubing community, there's so much drama. There's so much
Yeah.
things like discourse and everything. That's just
hmm
sometimes it's just for what simple things that could have been, talked about like offline or like privately, but everything's
Yes.
just into like making things worse, and
hmm
dealing things publicly doesn't really, sort that one out. And you're just making things, you're just making a topic everyone's problem as well. So
exactly.
why?
I agree with you. That's another thing about streaming that streaming gives me, right, is like, I voice my hot takes, and one of my biggest hot takes is like there's way too much VTuber like drama out there, with the whole, like, every other week there seems to be like a new Google Doc coming out. And don't get me
Exactly.
wrong, like, I feel like it's okay to bring this up if like somebody's being a predator, or somebody's
Yeah.
hurting somebody's business, or
Mm-hmm.
things like that, stuff that really 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 impacts the community, right?
Exactly.
But when it's like, oh, we were boyfriend and girlfriend and we broke up, and because we were terrible people to each other, I'm like, okay, y'all should just kind of like leave that alone. Don't talk about that in public. Like,
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. I get that you need to vent and things like that, but don't like, I don't know. I don't need to
We
see a
don't need
Google
to
Doc.
know that.
Yeah, I don't need to know that. Do I need to know if someone's an asshole that is like maybe like being like a sex pest? Yes. Do I need to know if somebody's a Nazi behind the scenes? Yes. That's the stuff I want to know. But I don't need to know about, like, you two were boning and you guys didn't, and then you guys got mad at each other for something, and I'm like, okay, all right, y'all just need to separate each other and like just stop talking to each other, and don't make it everybody else's problem.
True, true, true. Also, I think, well, like, one of my pet peeves as well is like, come on, you guys are adults. Act like an
Yes.
adult.
Yes,
Come
act like an
on.
adult, please.
Oh my god. It's like some streamers doesn't have like common sense in terms of common decency at least. And and
Hmm.
everything's like this is my experience with yada yada yada. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Why? Like I don't know. Sometimes it gets tiring to see these dramas out there, and I'm like I don't need this on my feed. Let's move on. I don't need
Yep,
this.
exactly. I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
But yeah, well, it's just sometimes community be like sometimes I feel like this space needs some wake up call and be
Mhm.
mature enough. Like when you're streaming, you're also influencing people.
Exactly, yeah.
So like having that kind of attitude and behavior isn't really a good example for
Hmm.
you and your community and for other people, and it just shows how immature you can be and irresponsible person. So
Exactly, yeah.
it's not a good look. You're
Hmm.
streaming, you're a public figure. You should at least be aware of what your standing is for everyone. Image
Exactly.
perception.
And that's one of those things that's like I've always been super like vocal about is like you don't need to be a political VTuber, right? But you can
Yeah.
still say like, hey, my community is safe for trans people. My community is safe for LGBTQIA people, right?
Yeah.
My community is safe for people of all religions and colors. Like, I don't think that should be controversial to say, especially when there are VTubers out there that are saying like, oh, it's okay to be racist. I'm like, no, that's like why do these people still keep getting money, right? It's like that to me. That's like one of those things that's like again, it's like take a stance. Like you're gonna be shocked by like how many people share that opinion that like, yeah,
Mm.
no, your streams are safe for everybody. And you shouldn't be afraid of saying the difficult, like the things that seem difficult for VTubers to say.
True, true. Agree. My god, crazy takes, everyone.
It's
But
all
it
good.
needs to be said. It needs to be
Yes,
said.
it does. It does
Sometimes,
need to be said.
if people can just think about it, even just for what, 5 minutes, think about what you're gonna be posting.
Yes,
It
exactly.
doesn't take too much, guys.
Hmm.
But yeah. Things be like, and that's why you're one of my favorite streamers, Keelan. Aww.
Aw, thank you, Sally.
That's so cute. Oh my god, this is what this space is for, people.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for that very responsible and at least mind opening um answer, Caleb. I think we all needed that. We needed some wake up calls.
And I'm glad that it's not a controversial opinion either. I'm glad that you guys are okay with what I got to say here because, again,
Mm,
it's like I've gotten the weird thing, the weird looks from people, or like the weird responses of like, you shouldn't be talking about this. You're just a VTuber, blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna keep doing what I do.
my god. Also,
Do
also
what you want to do.
exactly, and also it's not as if like what we're VTubers, but we're also real people. We
Exactly.
it's not as if what we're not just characters on screen. We're also people
Exactly.
IRL. We're
Hmm.
here. Yeah. But thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's move on to our next question. I think we're having a really good discussion at this point. So, since you're studying right now and you work as
Hmm.
well, did you can you tell us like how did you stay sane through all of that studying and working? I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate as well, because everyone um everyone or some people might be, having having a full-time job and also doing their masters, and some would be
Hmm.
probably will be taking that that path as well. So what tip or advice would you say?
So one thing is that's really important is make sure you take time for yourself. Um, so between working and studying full time and then also streaming on the side, I always made sure to like have time to do the stuff that I enjoyed. Mainly, it was streaming. Streaming kept me sane. Um, it gave me an opportunity to kind of like talk about what I was learning or talk about work and kind of like get stuff off my chest. And the other thing too, though, is also understand what your limits are too. It's okay to be like to ask for help at work and be like, hey, um, depending on what type of work you're doing, it's like, hey,
Mm.
I'm I need a day off so I can work on this school stuff or things like that. I took lots of days off, whether it was for just my own mental health or for doing school stuff. I always made sure to take time for myself. Um, and the other thing too, though, is self care and like staying sane. Sometimes it requires you to do some like the pretty boring stuff, like getting up and cleaning your room, or like you might not feel like it, but like getting up and cleaning yourself, like taking a shower, or at the very least like washing your face, um, or getting up and getting some sun. That's a lot of the stuff that I was doing. I was going on walks. I was practicing how to cook more as well. I was just doing stuff outside of my typical routine just to kind of shake things up and have fun.
I I think a lot would be I think a lot of people need that. Sometimes we get into what we're doing too much and we forget ourselves and things that we love too. So
Hmm.
I think it's a good advice to, save time for yourself, do things that you love, and um that would help you get motivated and stay sane basically.
Hmm.
To whatever
Yeah.
your busy schedules that you have. That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's good advice. I think I needed that too. Sometimes you overthink, sometimes you
Hmm.
overthink stuff. And taking a step back would be a good way for you to, relax. I think you needed a break. Take a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Take a Kit Kat break. Yeah. Because the other
Take,
thing,
mm, go, go,
I was
go.
just gonna say, is the other important part of it was having friends, right? Like when I wasn't streaming, I was talking to my friends. I was, my friends would encourage me, or my friends, or me and my friends would just get together and play games and stuff like that. Uh, make sure you cultivate your circle, right? Like your circle is very important to your mental health. Whether
Mm,
or not you're doing what I was doing and juggling so many hats all at once, or
mm.
even if you're just like dealing with a really crappy job, talk to your friends. Even if it's just for like a thing here and there, talk to your friends.
Don't forget your friends, guys.
Exactly. Don't
They're
forget your
your
friends.
support group, you know.
Hmm.
Having a solid support group would actually help you out in life, because
Hmm.
there are people who care about you and will help you out through, you know um through some very difficult stuff in life. They'll be there.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, next one. Next one. Um. Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you've been streaming for 5 years, and at the same time you were studying and working. Is that right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what's one thing people don't get about juggling about being a creator, a student, or a worker, like everything? What do you think
Uh,
people don't get?
I would say is like on like the creator side of it,
Mm-hmm.
uh don't beat yourself up if you're like not popping off, because like one of the things like I always kind of like I kind of gave myself a lot of flack for was like Like it took me 5 years to reach 1,000 followers on Twitch.
Mm.
And to talk about like, and here's the thing, I know people don't like to talk about numbers, but it is sometimes useful to reflect on the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it took me a long time. Like even now, I'm barely breaking into like the double-digit viewers, and I would beat myself up over it. But then I have to like look back on it and be like, as a creator, like, no, I did what I could. I created the content that I could create. I did my best, right? Because it's like, yeah, I don't have the full time to make videos. I don't have the time to go through my VODs and make clips when to put on like TikTok or YouTube or whatever. It's really really hard. Like juggling all that, right? And so as a creator, give yourself some credit. If you are working full time or going to school but also trying to be a creator, give yourself some credit where like if you don't see like the numbers popping off, right?
Mm.
Because if you're not like pumping out stuff all over the place, if you're not putting videos on TikTok, making posts on Twitter or Blue Sky, if you're not on that like a full-time job, because being a creator does require you to have a full-time job, right? Because it's like you're editing videos, you're making tweets, you're making new content, things like that.
Yeah.
But if you got other stuff going on, it's okay it's okay if you're a creator as a hobby at first, because like once you can actually like focus on being a creator, then you can start thinking about it as like a legitimate business. And then when it comes to the side of like as a fan or an audience member, um like don't take it out on us if we need to take a break every now and then. I know for like being a content creator, like one of the biggest sins you can do is like go on an extended break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
the hiatus is one.
yeah, exactly. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like be mindful of the person behind the character, the person behind the camera. It's like, maybe they need to take time off because they don't feel good, or they need to focus on work, or they need to focus on school. I've been lucky that every time I've come back from a hiatus so I can focus on school stuff, that my community has been there for me. My community has always welcomed me back, and all that kinds of good stuff. And also the other thing too is like, hey, like even if you're a lurker, take a clip every now and then. Help your the people that you watch out by taking clips, by interacting with their posts, by chatting every once in a while. Doing that stuff, for somebody who's being a creator on like as a hobby, means the world to us, because while I understand that lurkers make most communities, they make up like 90% of the community, having people to engage with is super important, because it's like, I want to know that the content that I am putting out there right now is the content that you guys want, or you at least enjoy it. Speak out and be vocal with your creators, that if you're in their discords or whatever, or if you follow them on Twitter or whatever, like, yeah, like just understand it's like, hey, stuff's hard, and just maybe take a little time out of your day just to encourage them, or do something like make a clip.
Great tip, actually, or great advice.
Yeah.
That's actually true, to be honest. Like, one thing I learned, because I'm also working. I'm also working a full-time job. So times I'm doing schedules actually takes time. And
Yeah.
because I love streaming too. So I make time for the streams that I have. That's why, even though I don't stream like every day, I stream long, because that's the only time I can like really play and do my hobbies, and like get a and like chat
Yes.
with everyone. So, you know,
Same here.
we do things we love, because we make times for things that we love, because we want to do it, even though we're busy IRL. We make time for this because we like it. Also,
Exactly. Yeah.
like doing those offline content, guys, I swear to God, It's
It's
hard.
hard.
It's hard. It's hard to edit your own thing, clip your own vids. So like I
Hmm.
appreciate all the clips that my community also do, even though they're all the sometimes embarrassing moments I have. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, but one thing as well that you guys should know, that those things, if we don't have time for it, it would take money.
Yeah.
Okay? So either you make time and do it yourself, but you don't have time every time. As an adult, you have very limited time. So what do you
Yeah.
do? You spend money on it. And
Yeah.
also, it makes us broke. So I
Yeah.
applaud like people who actually can do content, like being a full time. That's that's like getting another job, but that's for like what, 24/7, because you need to create and do your content every
Mm.
time, like think of everything. So yeah, being a content creator is hard, and at the same, very much so when you're also doing things IRL. So
Hmm.
I think one thing I learned recently was to, as you said, you know um don't take it too hard on yourself, and like,
Hmm.
take credits as well for the little things, because it, like, not everyone has the same schedule as you. And you know if you know that you're doing the best that you can with the time that you have, I think that's okay. Growing slow is fine, but as long as you're building a solid community that actually stays with you, stays loyal, and stay engaged, I think that's a big win already. That's a big win
I
for a
agree.
small
Yeah.
creator. Yeah. And it's nice to realize that some people would be, it's nice to see regulars on the streams. I
Hmm.
love to see, uh I love to see people who have been with me for like, what, years already, who still are here. And it just makes it makes me thankful. I think every content creator would be like very thankful for those people who've been staying with us, ever since, and still stays with us still now.
Exactly. The people that have been here for years, because again, I have friends that have been here since like day one, and I love them for it because they've even if they're just lurking or talk very very infrequently,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still happy to know that they're still supporting me.
Yeah, even like just chatting every now and then, like just knowing that, hey, I'm still here, I'm still lurking. I'm like, oh, thank you still for making time for me. Especially when I
Yeah.
have long streams, like what, 14 hours, and you're still here with me, bro.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're still here
Those are the
with
real
me.
ones that are there for an entire 14 hours.
Exactly. And that's just what, giving your time is precious, and I appreciate all the time that you guys are spending with us. So thank you. Hey. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go into the next question, Caleb. Because
All right.
I'm pretty sure that you're very passionate with your writing, right? So how does writing help you IRL? How does writing help you in real life?
Yeah. So writing helps me out in a couple of different ways, right? Because like streaming, it's a creative outlet for me.
Mm.
It
Mm.
and I think it's important to tell stories, right? Whether they're real stories or fictional stories. I just love the magic that kind of exists when somebody tells you a story, especially a story that they feel really passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's the thing for me. It's like writing really helps me out with that. It helps me out with the idea, like, I'm going to tell the stories that maybe might help somebody out someday,
Mm.
or inspire people to take up the pen themselves, right? That's what I like to think about. And the other thing too is writing has helped me out a lot emotionally too.
Mm.
I've had a like, especially this past year, I've had a really rough go of it. But even when but especially when I started my master's degree program too, I was dealing with a lot of emotions. And I actually wrote uh that book of poetry that I mentioned earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote that poetry roughly in about like roughly about 6 months as a way to kind of like process a lot of emotions that I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just kind of helped me, I guess, feel like more comfortable, and kind of deal with a lot of like a lot of just the kind of like the again, they were pretty like negative feelings a lot of the time, or like or at least just very impactful feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the poetry really did help there, because it kind of just put my thoughts into words and let me kind of like vent what I was thinking about and what was going on in my life at the time.
I see. Also, like writing poetry, as you said, you were into, you were going through something emotional, and putting that into poetry, that's already, that's a good creative outlet already. Also, like
Hmm.
from what from what I learned, basing from the things I read, like poetry is actually really into emotions, and you
Yes.
making like, a selection of a lot of poetry, bro. That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
It's hard to put
Yeah.
things into words, and you doing that was.
Yeah, I think it turned out to like, at right now, I think I'm somewhere at like a
Mm.
hundred poems in the collection in
Really?
total.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's amazing. You writing what your feelings into words. That's skills, guys. That's skills.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's
And
skills.
when I publish it and I make it
Yeah.
available for people, I hope people enjoy it. Because again, it comes from like a very like personal space.
Yeah. True, true. Well, also, like, as writers, well, I'm not a writer, so I will not base this on me, but like from the ones that I've read, it's hard to it's hard to make up words to like express your feelings. So, like, coming up with those poems. Also, poems are hard because you have to rhyme. So imagine that.
Yeah.
You're expressing
Well,
your feelings with rhymes too. What? Crazy.
well, to be fair, and for anybody who wants to be a poet or a writer, you don't need to rhyme your poems. That to Sometimes it's just the flow of the poetry, because I was really concerned about that too, because I remember in my English class, like, my teachers were telling me, like, the structure of the poem is super important, but then
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And there is a certain flow, and I do use certain words and things like that, but I don't try to rhyme. I don't try to have like a specific meter or anything like that. i
Mm.
just I just write my poetry just flows. And I don't worry about rhyming or anything like that, because
Mm.
I don't want to worry about that stuff. I just write. That's my whole jam with that.
I think like when you're a natural, it just flows. But
Yeah.
like for others, it's really hard. Like I can't. I don't know. I'm not good with those stuff. But I applaud people who has those skills, because, like, bro, those are mad skills, and it's hard to. I mean, like, constructing a poem itself. it's hard. I don't know, but for me, it's hard for me to like structure stuff. Organizing
Totally.
probably would be, you know, I know I'm an HR, but sometimes I struggle with organizing my own things. It's creative. I don't know. It's organized chaos. Okay, it's my own. Okay. Well, like for art, it's hard to put things together, and like for people who does that, that's cool. That's really cool. Amazing, amazing. And a lot of I think a lot of people who are creatives also uses those tools to express themselves, or like as what they say, masterpieces are done when emotions are in there. A lot of a lot of masterpiece that was created by artists was going through with something, like Van Gogh, like his paintings were because of, like, he was going through something. And
Yeah.
you know having a creative outlet does help, I guess. And like in this case with Caleb, writing is his creative outlet. And I think
Yeah.
that's also keeps you sane, right? You
Yeah.
know,
Writing has definitely kept me sane. Exactly.
like keeping things in check. I think that's why
Hmm.
people suggest like doing journals too. Do you have a
Yeah.
journal, Caleb?
Kind of. It's usually the journal is just sort of like a place where I will just draft story ideas or draft
Mm.
poems, and then once I get home, I will write that out.
Mm.
In some cases as well, though, my journal will also be like the place where I come up with like video ideas as well. Because
Mm.
one thing I want to do is like I want to get into making like video essays as well,
Yeah.
and I just used journaling as a way to kind of just start the drafting process for that.
So it's like where you put in all your ideas together, like any time of the
Mhm.
day.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Mm. I think I should do that. Sometimes sometimes you have ideas that just pops off and I don't write it down and then I forget it and then, oh wait, what did I think about last time? I
Yeah,
think
no,
I should do
journaling
that
is
too.
really nice.
Hmm. Okay. One thing I should do. I think that would help me be organized as well. What do you think? Maybe I should do that, no?
You do it. I recommend it.
Okay, I'll be working on it. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Okay. Alright. We just have a few questions right here. And I hope that the audience, I hope everyone here, I know a lot of you are lurking. Um but I hope you guys are learning stuff from us. And I hope the conversation is interesting for you, cuz for me it is. I'm learning a lot actually. Thank you. This is why I do podcasts, cuz I love learning about my guest. And especially when we have things in common too. That's actually a good, you know I I like when we vibe as well.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
thank you for having me on because again, we do really vibe because this. I mean, even before this, we were talking about like how awesome like BG3 is, and
Oh yeah.
we were nerding out about like the fact that I'm gonna try to have a chance. I'm gonna try to go see both Ben Starr, who is Clive Rossfield's VA, and
Yeah.
Sam, who is the voice of Karlak at PAX East.
My god. You guys, if you guys are, in Arizona, is that in Arizona or in
Yeah, so I live in Arizona, and PAX East is in Boston.
Oh yeah, there you go. In Boston, guys. If you're around Boston, then I think you might have a chance to meet Caleb, because he'll be there with other VTuber friends, right?
Other just streamer friends,
Streamer
because
friends.
I am like an example of a VTuber that has a lot of friends that aren't VTubers. Um,
Oh. That's
Yeah,
cool.
my biggest inspirations actually were not VTubers. They were actually just face cam streamers. Um, and today I'm lucky to call them my friends and all that. A German spy is one of them. He's the one who I'll be meeting at PAX East alongside some other streamers. Nick from Bitterbits, another big old inspiration. These guys are like my big brothers when it comes to streaming, and they have
Mm.
always been super supportive and super helpful. And they are, like I said, they are my biggest inspirations. I love those guys. Those guys have been. I started watching them, and I'm
Mm.
like, I want to do what they do. I want to talk about the stuff that's interesting to me, and I'm gonna follow their lead. And I would not be here
Mm-hmm.
today as a streamer if it weren't for them.
Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. To those people.
Y'all should go follow A German Spy and Bitterbits. Just
Let's
saying.
go. Let's go. I hope you guys remember that because I'm gonna be following them as well. We need new people, right?
Exactly. Always meet new people.
Yeah, always meet new people. Tying that up with my next question,
Mhm.
because we know we've met. I think we all have different definitions of success, and sometimes we meet people that you think are already successful with the craft that they do. But for you, Caleb, what does success
Mhm.
look for you right now?
So, one of the ways I think success looks for me right now is the fact that I recently broke 1,000 followers. Like that was one of like my biggest successes. The fact that
Hmm.
I broke 1,000 followers, it was like the goal that I've been reaching for a while now.
Hmm.
And now that I've reached that goal, I'm still like, well, I'm still hungry for more. I want more people to see me. I want more people to interact with me, right? And
Yeah.
so the goal and what success will look like for me now is reaching 2,000 followers. I hope it doesn't
Hey.
take me another 5 years. I hope it's a lot shorter, but I do hope to reach 2,000 followers, maybe even 5,000 in a reasonable amount of time, right? I would love
Yeah,
to just like
true.
I would love to just pop off, right, and just get an influx of people coming in and interacting and looking forward to the content more and more. I don't have any like a grandiose things of like being a super big full-time content creator, right? But like
Yeah.
if success would look for success looks like what success looks like for me right now is if I could get maybe 30 to 40 people watching me a night and 2,000 people following me. I think that's what success looks like for me right now. Um,
Mm.
sure, it might not be enough to pay the bills, but it would still be something that like lets me be creative, and it lets me, people would tell me it's like, oh yeah, I look forward to your next video or I look forward to your next stream. Um, and you guys and the support that comes from that, because it's like, you know, subs and bits and donations, all of that is super helpful because it helps keep the lights on. It helps keep the creative juices flowing. It helps make sure that what I'm doing is just not falling on deaf ears, right? It makes sure I still have internet so
True.
I can still stream.
I see. I think it's also good that we celebrate those little wins as well.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
you have goals, it kind of plumps you up with, oh, okay, I need to do better now. That's why I'm gonna be having um a higher goal next time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like reaching that with people that are interested with what you do is actually a really good success. Is actually what I know what like success would look like too. I think for me success would also be like having building the community itself. Even though
Hmm.
we're growing slower, or like slow, unlike people who would just, who would be lucky to, that pops off.
Yeah.
I think it's so good because we're slow, but we're building a more stable community. Because what
Hmm.
happens with people who just pops off, you know I think Queso would say, Queso also said, like before, one of his videos was um like content creating is like 90%, no, 10% hard work, or like let's say 70-80% hard work, but like
Hmm.
what really is, like luck also plays with that. So
Yeah.
if we get lucky, then oh my god, good for us. But then again,
Hmm.
if you do get lucky, and you're trying to build your community and you're not good at it, then it would just be, it would just crumble. Like what
Exactly. Yeah.
so having a stable one really is, having a stable community is a really big win. Work harder,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I mean, that also works, Feathers. Feather
Mhm.
says work harder so luck factors lessen it. It does. But then again, how internet is right now. Your algo also plays a lot of
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing as well for content streamers. With with
Hmm.
the with a lot of people streaming right now, because like in this industry is very, how would you say it,
Uh,
um
saturated is what they call it. Yeah.
saturated. Yes, exactly that's what you said. um this industry is very saturated, so having
Hmm.
that exposure itself is already hard. And
Hmm.
even though you're putting contents everywhere, it luck still plays, because like what if just a few people see it, or like what if the algorithm of certain social media still does not push your content. Then even though you're putting in so much effort, or like putting in interesting video,
Hmm.
if the algorithm doesn't work with you, then it's still, you'll still have a hard time getting the exposure that you want. So
Exactly. Yeah. Because I will still say, like, it, like you were saying before, it's,
mm,
there's a lot of luck plays into it. And the other thing too is like, and there is no shame in this too, because like, with the type of people that watch VTubing content, usually
mm-hmm.
it's, like, if you play a very specific, if you have a very specific type of model, and you sort of engage in very specific ways, you can get like tons and tons of followers really quickly, because
Exactly.
I'm not gonna like throw flack at anybody, because even myself, like, I have a very attractive model. But the other thing too is, though, because most people that watch VTubers are guys, right? Guys are looking for pretty women to listen to and watch play video games and things like that. And that's the type of stuff that typically falls under the VTuber stuff. But even then, like, it's like what Elena said, even if you present yourself as being very pretty or very attractive, and you try to do this super sexy ASMR thing, like that a lot of people try to do,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't, if it's not built on authenticity, people are not going to stick around for it,
Yeah.
because yeah, like, the people that like the attractive models are going to stick around, but are they really going to engage with your content? Are they really going to cheer you on, like actually building a community? um because like that's the thing, like, I want to focus on primarily, is I want to focus on building a strong community where people are here
Exactly.
for me, not just for the way I look, or for the way for the way I kind of like act on stream, because how I act on stream is very authentic to who I am as a person, right? I don't want to, for as much as VTubing is like playing a character, I don't really play too much. I don't role play too much, as whereas other VTubers are like a lot of VTubers love playing on the whole like boyfriend or girlfriend experience type stuff. Because that gets you a lot of money, that gets you a lot of views. But is that who you really are at the end of the day? Is that what really makes you interesting?
Exactly. I would actually agree and relate as well because a lot of um I mean like VTubing comes from Japan, which is into the idol industry. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are like into that as well. But like
Yeah.
for me, I don't want to really dive into like, the girlfriend boyfriend experience. I would rather be your your big sister
Mm-hmm.
to tell you stuff and be real with you. um
Exactly. Yeah.
but sometimes this types of content doesn't really pop up right away because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I'm not gonna bash anyone and like target everyone in terms of like what content they produce, but sometimes those types of contents really sells because that's what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
um having say so contents sometimes is hard to sell or market with because not all
Mm-hmm.
people would be into the real stuff, the
Exactly. Yeah.
real talk
Mm-hmm.
person.
And,
So
and that's one of the things that's hard with me too, because it's like I want to market myself as being more like edutainment or like
yeah.
educational or like just like a place where people learn, but like again, that's not really where people are looking for VTubers for, right? But i'm
Mm-hmm.
still gonna i'm still gonna stick to what I want to do. I don't pretend to be super sexy demon king that's going to whisper in your ear until the end of time. No, it's like uh if I'm going to be a storyteller, I'm going to be a mentor, I'm going to be I'm going to be someone that you can learn something from, or like, or maybe even just, even if you don't agree with what I have to say, it makes you think, right?
Mm,
That's sort of, again, that's my goal and where I want to like build my content around.
exactly. Same. I actually feel the same. Like I don't. I already experienced. Okay, it's a little story time. A little story
Hmm.
time. So before I actually became HR, I was actually a different VTuber before, and I
Hmm.
already experienced those types of the parasocial thing, and
Yeah.
it's hard. It's not something that I think would be uh it's stressful.
Yeah,
It's not a
I
great
can imagine.
experience,
Yeah.
and also like I think for me as a person who doesn't really like role play those stuff, it was hard. It was kind of hard to also do those stuff just for content. And
Hmm.
that's when I realized that, hey, I don't think I want this type of community for me. So I
Hmm.
rebranded. And I think I'm more happier. Uh, yeah, it gets slippery and slopey when you have those types of content. So like
Yeah.
once I transitioned into, hey, I want a better I want a better community that is more into like what I am IRL and like what I
Hmm.
can give, and again be an entertainer. That
Hmm.
is my goal as well. And like having
Hmm.
this platform with those types of educational videos or like something I can share with is actually, if I get successful in doing that, and not just leaning into, the lewd stuff, I think
Yeah.
I think that is successful for me, or that is success as well for me.
And that's totally fair, because like I have friends in like all different VTuber spaces, like, and so I have friends in the LewTuber space, and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, uh while the phrase sex sells is definitely true, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to make it work and you want to really like make like the good money on it, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard work and it's not
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
It's why, like, again, it's super easy to, again, have like a super sexy model and like, you know do that kind of stuff, but like, Way, but like, is that what you really want to do? Is that like, because again, sex work is work, but it's still work at the end of the day, and it's not as easy as everybody says it is. Because
Yeah,
after a
true.
certain point, you know, just like everything else, it's super saturated, right? So it's like, what makes you stand out? What does this? And it's like, and sex work is not for everybody, or even in general, just being lewd is not for everybody, because like some people only feel comfortable being that way with the person that they're intimate with, and that's, again, that's totally okay.
Exactly true. But yeah, I think as well that we like having different niche, or like having that certain point of, content really boils down to, what you are, what you want to produce, and what you want to share to your community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Man, good talk, good talk. I like that we're talking about like really, well, some people would take it as a hot take, but like I think as adults, it's kind of like just it's just how things is really.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No,
you
it
know,
is. Yeah, I agree
it's
with you.
it's not, I don't think, I don't want it to look like as a hot take, because what it's real, this
Mm-hmm.
is just how things are. And sometimes when you have opinions in terms of being the adult, the mature one, sometimes
Yeah.
people would be very uh a bit negative to some, because
Yeah.
they would say
I
like, you know I think some younger people would be
yeah.
disagree, but like,
Yeah.
we wisdom says it all. When you're more mature, and you run into life more, I guess, that's where you understand some stuff
Mm,
better.
exactly. I completely agree on that front. Because I've been on the internet for a long time. I've got a thick skin for it, but so you know, I that's why I'll voice my opinion, and I just don't give a damn what other people say.
Just be yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Okay, all right, since we're talking about as an adult, if you
Hmm.
um if you could change one thing about you being an adult, do you have something you want to change? Or
Oh man, yeah, that's a hard question, because when you first put that one on the list, I was really thinking about it, and like, what would I
oh,
change about being an adult? And I think this is like, it kind of, some of it comes from like living in the United States, right?
yeah.
The United States has like so much a different adult culture than it
Mm.
does in other countries. Because I hate the fact that, you know, I have to worry about like health insurance now, because like I can't be on my parents' health insurance anymore, and things like that. One other thing too is like, why is dating still so hard as an adult? Uh, like I thought like after high school and after
Mm.
college it would be a lot easier to date, but I don't know what it is about dating nowadays. Mind you, I live in a very small community, so it's hard to date anyway, especially since I don't live in like a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but dating really sucks. Dating still sucks as an adult. Like, why is that a thing? I don't get it.
Mm-mm.
But those were like some of the answers that I kind of came up with. It's just like, yeah, it kind of sucks that you know, dealing with like the nitty gritty that comes with being an adult in America, right? Because again, there's so much issues. There's so many things that I have to like pay for being an adult. That would be so much easier if that stuff was just like universal health care, or
Mm.
you know, I hate the fact that I had to take out so many loans just to go to school, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of like what being an adult really like sucks about, is just like, yes, being an adult in America really sucks.
I agree. I agree. I mean, like even here, I
Mhm.
think for me, if I'm gonna answer my question, I did give your question, but I mean like because being an adult makes you makes you go through with a lot of things.
Mhm.
um I would say I hope, well, it's not entirely I want to change it, but
Mhm.
more of into I wish it was a bit easier in some
Mhm.
aspects. Like for example, as you said, um having, like when we were little, we were into like, oh my god, when I'm in this age, I would be married, I would have this
Oh,
and that, and like what now when you're in that age, it's gonna be like, what happened to my plan? What
yeah,
happened to that?
exactly. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still the same when I was
Mhm.
this age. So I feel like I hope it would have been like easier to navigate, I guess, into what
Y-
you want, really. Cause as an adult, you realize that stuff that you think are easy before is not really entirely how it is, especially.
Exactly. I agree with you. Yeah. Cuz it's like I
Mm,
wish like, jobs were a lot easier, right? Like I wish
yeah,
going back to my paralegal job, I wish like my paralegal job paid me more, right? I wish that
exactly,
like being an adult was as easy as my parents said it was going to be. It's like, oh yeah,
exactly.
you'll be an adult and you'll you'll be you'll be able to live on your own and all this stuff, right? But that's not really the case anymore. It's like it's so hard to be an adult now because it's like
Exactly.
the world has changed and it's
Mm-hmm.
not as easy anymore and it sucks.
Yeah, and like you had this expectation before when you were younger. Like
Mhm.
they said that, oh, you just need to graduate college and you'll get a job. What? You didn't tell me that it's hard to find a freaking job. Like
Yeah.
you expect that when you were younger. Okay, once I graduate, I will get a job, and then I will do this and that. Bro, like
Mhm.
having, like after that step, a lot of people would have this like younger ones would have this expectations of like, oh, when I get my first job, I would have this type or I would have this salary range. But
Oh, yeah.
no, that's not true. Oh my god, it's like reality hits you hard after you
Yeah.
graduate. And that's
Yeah.
and I think that's something like I would want to make it easier as an adult, because like I wish it was that easy, but it's not.
Mhm. I know. The world that our parents had is not the world we live in now. It is
Exactly.
fundamentally so
Different,
much
yeah.
worse for us in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ways.
Exactly. Because like before, imagine they were able to what, get a house at this age, get
Hmm.
get married at this age, but like at this point in our life, it's like we're still thinking of like, how do we pay this, how do we pay our, you know our loans and
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's There's just so much to think. And like,
Yeah. It
and also like
sucks.
the expectations of like, oh, you have to build your family at this age.
Uh huh.
I can't even fend for myself at this age. What do I do?
Exactly. Because it's like again, it's like the whole thing of like marrying and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to, be a husband. I would love to be a dad.
Yeah.
That's still like the dream for me is to like have a wife, have some kids, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on where you live, right? But like in the United States specifically, it's so expensive to have a kid. um and it's so expensive just to live in most places in the United States, or at least in the nice parts of the United States. It's so expensive to live here.
Yeah.
And I know it's the same in other countries too. And it's like I wish stuff was easier. It doesn't need to be like baby mode easy. Like I still anticipated like a little bit of trouble here and there, but
Yeah.
like I want the world to be accessible, right? I want to be able to buy a house. I want to be able to actually like think about like getting married. I don't want to worry about like if I have a kid, how much am I going to go into debt by having a kid, right? It's like that's the
Exactly.
thing that really sucks. It's like I like again, like I said, like I want to be I want to be a dad. I want to be a husband, but it's so hard nowadays because like will that even be possible, right? Because it's like it's so expensive to do anything.
Exactly. And what's sad is like, you have a job, but like inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation, bro.
Yeah. Fucking
My
inflation.
salary, like they said, like, okay, when you get this salary, you'll be able to live yourself. But like,
Uh-huh.
what's happening right now? It's not even enough for me. how would I
Yep.
how would I use this to even build a family? And yes,
Mm-hmm.
Reaper, that's right. The back in my day saying is definitely no longer applicable at this point because like it's
Mm-hmm.
so different. How? Also, Rika, thank you so much for the resub. But it's just so much harder. Like
Yeah.
whenever an adult or like, well, not as adult or like someone older than us would say
Mm-hmm.
that back in my day it's like this, it's like that, and you should have that. And I would just roll my eyes every time and like would
Mm-hmm.
think, I wish I could say to you that it is, but it's not. It's so
Mm-hmm.
not the same. It's different.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like and I don't know, and I don't know how it is with your parents because I don't know how similar Latino culture between the Philippines and Mexico is, but like I hate being told that like, oh, you just need to work harder because you need to work harder to so you can get a girlfriend and get a wife and all this other kinds of stuff. You need to work harder and then you'll have a house. It's like, dude, I'm working 40 hours a week. I don't want to work 80 hours a week and never see my kids or never see my wife. It's like that fucking sucks. Um
Exactly.
and I want to have a life that's one of that's one of my whole things. It's like why I'm so like I'll say it. I'm a communist because I believe that people should not, like, all these rich assholes living their life making our lives harder. Like, what the fuck is that, man? It's like why are we struggling when all of these like super rich billionaires are like basically living on our money, and they make our lives worse. And it's like I like we can't like you and I can't think of like having our own house, having our own family, and having all the good stuff because these guys are just hoarding all the money. It's so fucking dumb.
It's just crazy that the workforce is what is uh, is is the one suffering really in
Yeah.
terms of like what's happening right now. And yes, reverse
Yeah.
bell feathers. Rich people get it easy, get it easier.
Hmm.
Like the poor gets it much harder. Like the
Exactly. Yeah.
privilege is just, it's just dumb. It's
Yeah. It's so
just
dumb.
bullshit. Yeah. And inflation is growing more faster than your salary just sucks so much.
Hmm.
Because like
I know.
it just feels like the more you work, you expect that your salary would be, can help you
Hmm.
make things easier, but it's like you're just going back to square one every day. It's like the
Yeah.
more harder you work, it's just the more higher the higher the inflation would be. And it's just, it gets tiring for people.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Yeah.
And I think it just sucks. I I
Yeah.
I, I I don't want the adulting to change per se, but like I wish it was just easier. Because like
Hmm.
the challenges and the the conflicts that we may have as we grow really shapes you as a person. But
Hmm.
you know, things right now, it's just sad for for us right now. The generation really
Hmm.
is just suffering, really.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, and I'll go back to it. It's just like things are harder than they should be because they shouldn't be this hard. They really shouldn't because it's like, uh, we live on this big planet. There's room for everybody. Everybody should have, or everybody should be able to live the life that they want. They shouldn't have to worry about retirement. Nobody should worry about if their kids are getting like a good education. We should take care of the old, and we could be able to take care of the old. We can take care of the old, and we can take care of the young, and the people in the middle will have like an opportunity to work and live and all that kind of stuff. A world like that can exist, but it can't exist right now with the way everything is, with billionaires taking
Yeah.
all of our resources and all this other kinds of stuff, with governments fighting each other over some stupid shit. um and I do believe that we can have a better world for us and future generations too, because it's like I don't want to worry about retirement, because it's like that's what, like, here's the thing: I'll gladly pay my taxes if it means that I don't have to worry about having a retirement fund.
Exactly. Agree, I agree. It's just it's like our parents were in what the normal mode of
Yeah,
life, and now we're like, oh my god, it's like harder, really. It's like God
yeah,
mode for real. Oh my god.
yeah. This is God mode. This is God mode right now. Exactly.
It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Reaper says here, the other day my relative says you should have a family now. I clapped back so fast. I said, then what to be like you? Not being able to provide even the bare minimum and suffer. Oh my god, what a savage
Wow.
answer. I'd rather suffer on my own than to suffer with my future kids. No thank you. I'm okay
Yeah.
not having my own family for now. I felt bad, but not so much. I mean, like, I think that, you're just giving out a real talk answer, technically. And they stop nagging that thing. At
And that's the
least
thing
they
too.
understand that.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to clap back like that because it's like, here's the thing. It's like, again, I'll go back to it. I want to be a dad. I want to, be a husband. But again, raising kids takes a lot of time, money,
And
and
money
energy.
and energy. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, again, it's like what I said. Like, I don't want to work an 80-hour job just to barely put food on the table, because then that means what time am I spending with my kids? What time am I spending with my wife? 80 hours a week is that's so fucked, you know. And no, I don't want to put a kid through that. I don't want to put a wife through that. um and so it's just like, yeah, no, I would rather not like have anybody suffer,
Mm.
because I let my dick do the talking, as it were, because it's like, it's very easy to not have kids, right? It's very easy. Like, I don't know about people's own religious stuff, but it's very easy not to have kids, right? And
Mm.
so, you know prevent that little bit of like extra suffering by just not having kids, because it's like, having kids is hard. And this is coming from somebody who has a brother who regretted having kids so early in life.
I think a lot of people still says that, have kids early, so you won't regret
Hmm.
it when you're an adult, and they're growing already. But like, I feel like, uh I don't think I'm not even ready to 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 have that kind of responsibility for real.
Hmm. Exactly, because it's like what Reaper says: I'm not afraid of the responsibility of having a kid. I'm afraid of not being able to provide the life they deserve. Exactly, because it's like we said, it's expensive. I think in the United States alone, I think now it's like $30,000 of medical costs to have one kid. And
Huh.
in the United States, there is no parental leave, and in some places, there's no maternal leave either.
What?
So it's
There's no
like,
parental leave to you
yeah. So
guys?
the parents have to immediately go back to work if they don't have like vacation time or sick time saved up. It's so fucked up.
Oh my god, what would happen to the children that they have? Even
Yeah,
even
a lot
even
of
no
fucked up shit.
maternity, really? What?
Yeah, it's why the U.S. is so fucked right now, because it's like people are like, the government's like, well, why aren't people having kids? It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe because it's so expensive, and most businesses don't offer maternal leave. Like, it's completely okay in the United States to fire somebody just because they're leaving to have it, just because they're gonna have a kid. It's completely okay to fire them. It's so fucked.
What? Oh my
Yeah,
god. You guys are having so much. Oh my god, that's at least
it's
here.
fucked.
Oh my god, I can imagine that. At least here, I guess for us, we do have like most companies now are offering maternal or paternal leaves, and
Hmm.
it's obligatory or it's mandatory to have maternal
Good.
leaves for us. I think that's one thing that I like, at least, because they Philippines are very into family, basically.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so like these things does take priority as well in terms of um mostly at work. So I'm at least happy with that case, but like
Mhm.
you telling that you guys don't even have that sucks so bad. And Fredder said
Yeah.
here, the US, they don't tell you the hospital bill till after the delivery.
Yes, it's
How would
so
you
fucked up.
imagine what your budget is going to be? What?
Yeah, it's messed up. It is really bad.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. It's so bad here. It's one of the reasons why one of my biggest goals with being an adult is leaving the United States if I can, because it's like, I would love to go to a country and find work in a country that actually would treat me like a human being rather than what is going on right now in the United States.
A lot of things happening, really.
Hmm.
Oh my god. Things that we live in right now, people. Oh my god, wake up.
Yeah, it's so messed up right now.
Yeah. Oh my god. And being an adult just makes it, makes it harder too. So
Hmm.
hugs to everyone right here who's feeling the same way. we
Me.
we got this. We can work on this. Oh my god. My mom basically had to travel to Mexico for a type of surgery because it's cheaper over there.
Yep.
I think a lot of people do that, right? Yeah,
They
yeah.
do. Where I live on the U.S. Mexico border, so I'm like 15 minutes away from the border. Um,
Mm.
one of the biggest forms of like tourism we have here is medical tourism. People will
Ooh.
come to my hometown. They will cross into Mexico because basically the town is like split in two. So
Mm-hmm.
you have the U.S. side of the town and then the Mexican side of the town. And on the
Oh.
Mexican side of the town, right at the border, there are a bunch of dentists, a bunch of eye doctors, a bunch of other doctors like plastic surgery doctors. Like, they're
Mm.
all along the border, and people go there all the time for dental work, eye work,
Because it's
boob jobs,
cheaper.
like everything, and it because it's so much cheaper over there, and it's crazy.
No, right? Oh my god, the things happening, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, well, for win for the tourists. Actually, also the community, I think, probably would be thriving at that point, because like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it,
Yeah.
it, it just shows how bad things are on the other side. Not all of us can leave. We should still stand with our vulnerable population, as Riku said. I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
Oh, go
go,
for it.
Caleb.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was just about to say, because like, some people also don't have the means to leave, so
Mm-hmm.
we try to make things better, at least to to where we
Mm-hmm.
are, and like the community
Yeah.
that we are in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And from Rico, in my case, I'm very much one of those vulnerable populations because I am a Latino man. I have a very Mexican name. I'm very dark skinned. I have the long dark hair. Um, and I'm one of the people that my government says that they can talk to me when, like the cops can talk to me at any point, just because of the color of my skin and just because of what my name is and where my family is from. And it's one of the things, like in recent times I have told my parents, we like, if something happens, we need to leave, we need to be ready to leave because I don't want my family to be in danger. Again, it again, it's I would love to stay here if I could to help out the vulnerable populations, but because I'm also part of that vulnerable group, I also have to think about my family. I have to think about the people that I love and cherish and getting them out and making sure that they're safe. But
Mhm.
I would gladly fight tooth and nail for everybody because that's how I am too. Just because I'm not gay, just because I'm not a woman, just because I'm not queer, right? It doesn't mean that I don't care about these people. I do care about these people, and I want to make sure they live fulfilling lives. It doesn't matter to me who you love, what you are, what religion you practice. I don't care. I don't care about that. I want you to be successful at the end of the day. I want everybody to be successful.
True. We all wish that for everyone, and also, I feel you in terms of like, um prioritizing you and your family's safety as
Mm,
well. It's hard already living that situation, and know,
mm-hmm.
it's just it's just harder that things are just getting worse.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping to. I still hope, I still hope that it gets better. I know it's a far-fetched hope, to be honest, at this point in time, but as someone who hopes that things can get, can get better in time. I wish it comes true that, it gets better,
Same.
because
Exactly. I'm the same.
it's not as if we can leave Earth anyways. It's
Yeah.
we're technically stuck here for now,
Yeah,
hopefully.
we're stuck here for now.
Yeah. But like, it's just things that hopefully, people would realize that it things should be we should wake up, and like things should change for the better,
Hmm.
for the better.
Exactly. I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
fundamentally agree.
Oh my god, that's some good talk. Oh my god, are you guys feeling it? Oh my god, things are getting more interesting right here. But I do enjoy the talk, to be honest, because like it's just things that not much, or not a lot of VTuber would talk about.
Hmm.
So I'm happy that we're able to, be that you're able to talk comfortably with what you're thinking as well, and your views in life as a VTuber or as a person per se.
Hmm.
That's
And,
I'm happy.
and it goes back to what I was saying before. This is the type of stuff that I always engage my community in because it's like these are important talks to have. I know it's super easy to just be like, "Oh, let me play the video game and just have fun." That's totally fine. But again, it's okay to be human. It's okay to say like, "You know what, guys? I'm kind of scared. Shit's looking kind of fucked right now. You know, I'm really scared for my family. I'm really scared for my friends. And things are looking scary right now. But it's important that we stay positive, and it's important that we work together and keep keep ourselves, you know, keep ourselves safe. That's one of the things I always advocate for, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
we need to talk about that stuff. We really do.
Exactly. And for others who are not aware, or like, but just like this kinds of topics just doesn't go to their timeline. I hope
Hmm.
these things reach you, because you have to be socially aware of what's happening
Yes.
in your surroundings, your environment, because a
Hmm.
lot of people would just be, blissfully ignore what's happening, because like they would say it's not affecting me, so why would I care?
Hmm.
You're totally wrong, because you're gonna get affected one way or another. So
Exactly.
you need to be aware of what's happening, like at least knowing what's happening in your area would help you out.
Hmm.
And yeah, everything, exactly, feathers, everything blends into everything else. Like right
Yes.
now you might not be affected, but in the long run you will be. So if you don't care right now, then don't act surprised when it gets to you in the future, because it would be, it would
Yeah.
it would get to you. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm also sometimes I feel for the younger generation, especially the ones who just graduated, because they're
Hmm.
into some, oh my god, one hell of a reality check afterwards.
Yeah.
If you think studying is hard, wait till you graduate, because
Yeah.
things are more effed up. And sometimes we as an adult, we would say like, I wish I'm studying again, I wish I go back to school, because like you guys are still having it easier. Once you started working, and once you are into the world um of doing jobs, really, it gets to
Hmm.
you that things are much simpler when you're studying.
Yeah. Exactly. Kids don't know how good they have it, until they're away from until they're actually out in the world, because like, yeah,
Mm,
no, it's so much easier to be a kid. Like, don't get me wrong, like learning the social skills is still really hard, especially if you're like an awkward kid. But you don't have to worry about bills, you don't have to worry about driving everywhere. You don't need to worry about all this stuff. There's so much more to worry about at being an adult than there is being a kid.
exactly. Also, Rika said, when you don't want to get involved in politics, politics will eventually get involved with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just don't feel it right now, but it will.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's one heck of a conversation. I think I'm gonna change one of my questions. I think this is my last question, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna tweak it a bit, because I did
Okay.
say, um, my original question states that, what's one thing you wish someone told you before you started working full time. I guess
Uh-huh.
I'll tweak it into, what would you say to someone much younger than you before they go into adulthood. I think that's a much
Oh.
more appropriate question, with the
Yeah.
conversation that we're having. Because again, a lot of people, when you're young, you don't really care about what's happening, really. But once you get in here, you'll get smacked in the face, and like, well, reality, this is what's happening. So, what would you
Hmm.
advise to those younger people?
Yeah. I would say, never stop caring about the stuff that's important to you, right? Because I noticed this with like a lot of like older people specifically, where like a lot of older people are like, oh, I don't like politics because politics stress me out, um, and all this other kinds of stuff, and it's like I can't care too much, like caring hurts me and things like that. It's like I am of the mindset that you should care about the things that are important to you, whether it's politics, whether it's community, whether it's something, right? Still care about those things, because caring about those things, like, it's really easy to just kind of like shut yourself out and pretend that the problems don't exist, that the issues in the world that are in the world right now don't exist and that don't matter to you. It's really easy to push everything aside and be like, I like, if the world doesn't care about me, I don't care about the world. No, care about things. Care about the people in your community, care about your family, care about political issues, social issues. Find something find something to involve yourself with, whether, and you, again, you don't like, I advocate, like, you don't have to be a person of color to stand with people of color, right? You can still advocate for them and you can still help them, right, and keep them safe. Same for, like, if you want to keep people that are LGBTQIA safe, you can do that too. You just take up a cause. uh, find something that matters to you and that you care about. Don't just hide away and think that either nothing's going to change or you're going to wait for somebody to make the change yourself. The change will happen if enough people care. That's the thing. And the issue is, a lot of older people don't care. And I think the cool thing to do now is care, love thy neighbor and all that stuff, right? I'm not even a religious person, but I still advocate for that. Like, love your neighbor, love your homies, love your family, all that kind of stuff. Love the people around you, and care for them. And you know, even if you can't make a change at a big level, make changes in your community. Do things in your community that might help people out. Take little steps about the stuff that really hits home for you. Never stop caring about the world, because the more people that don't care about the world is the reason why global warming is a thing. The reason why billionaires get away with all the stupid shit that they're getting away with now. If more people cared, and more people stood up and said, fuck no, we're not gonna do this shit anymore, we're gonna go burn down every Tesla factory or whatever, like, that would make so much change. But not enough people care yet, and we need to fix that. We need to care more and be vocal about how much we care about stuff. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be scary, and it's gonna hurt, but that's all part about being human. That's all part of it. Hurting is part of being human, so much as loving, and sadness comes with the joy and all that. So never stop caring, never stop loving the people around you and the world around you.
Very well said. Very well said. Thank you. That was actually a really good, you know, good advice. Because as you said, like, when you stop caring, a lot of things won't matter to, you know, a lot of people would probably go the same way. Because, like, if you don't care, then I won't care too. And
Mhm.
you know, what would happen if everyone takes that stand? Then there's nothing, things will just get worse and worse, and up
Mhm.
until, you know, there's nothing left to care. There's nothing left to care about anymore, because we acted up, and that
Yeah.
would suck so bad. That would suck so much
Mhm.
for us.
Exactly. We still have a chance to make changes, by the way. Like, it's gonna take a long time, but, like, there's this saying that I like to use.
Mm-hmm.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is now. And even if you don't live to benefit from the fruit of the tree or its shade, at least your children, or at least your grandchildren, or at least the community there will at least be somebody after you that will appreciate the efforts that you made to plant that tree.
Exactly. True, true, true. I would agree as well. I think that's something that everyone should should think about it, or should think about, because like a lot of people gets, some people would get selfish in terms
Hmm.
of like everything. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't benefit me, why would I do that, those kinds of thinking. And it's just sad to see,
Yeah, it
sometimes
is.
it's not bad to be selfish for yourself, or like, from time
Mhm.
to time, but you also have to think the impact of what those decisions could make, and it's going to be
E-
for everyone.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, there's a video I saw a long time ago, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like the selfish reason to be an altruist, and basically it says if if everybody is succeeding, then you succeed, right? Because they use the example of the reason why every kid should get an education just means that there are more doctors out there that can treat cancer, right? You shouldn't make being a doctor super hard just because you don't want to pay for education with your taxes. No, you should pay for people's education so that way when you get sick, there are like 20 doctors that can treat your illness rather than, let's say, one, right?
True, true. And the more people care, and the more opportunities that other people can have as well,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you help your other person, or the more you help other people, the more you help the community as well.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. But physicians loans are crazy. imagine imagine feathers.
Yeah.
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 All
Uh,
right. Do you have anything else to say, Caleb? Or
Not really. That I think we touched on a lot today.
exactly. I
In
think
just
so
two
too.
hours, we touched on a lot.
Exactly. I think this was a very meaningful talk. Really, I think we got ourselves into the open space of like really
Mhm.
talking about some difficult issues or difficult topics, but it needs to be said. If you're
Exactly.
if
I
you're
agree.
watching this and you're able to think about, maybe they're right, or maybe we got you into thinking of, maybe it is time to make a change, then we're happy that you think that is.
Hmm.
And I guess what we talked about is effective, and I hope this change for the better, like, we
Hmm.
help
I
you
agree.
into thinking into that. Yeah. Hello, Mickey. Hello. Thank you so much, Rico, as well. So yeah, I think that's I think we'll be wrapping that one up. So, that's a wrap for today's episode, everyone, of HR Connect. Caleb, thank you so much for being so open. We do love a
Thank
guest
you.
who drops truth bombs right here, and um just making it real, just making it real for everyone. Before you go, do you have anything you want to promote aside from, he's going to Boston, people going to PAX East, you better watch out. Anything that you want to say to your community who's also here, and to everyone who wants to watch your stream? But when do you stream?
Yeah, so I typically stream Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes Mondays, and sometimes on Tuesdays. Right now, I am taking a little bit of a break. I won't be streaming tomorrow, and I won't be streaming again until next Friday. Um, uh, I'm going to be streaming a little bit before I go to PAX East, because I need to focus on my school stuff before I leave, so no streams for the rest of the week. But when I come back from PAX East, I'll be doing a couple of things. I will be doing a 5-year streaming anniversary event when I come
Let's
back.
go.
Yeah, I've been streaming for 5 years, and I've been a VTuber for 4 of them. So if you guys are interested in, I think I'm doing kind of a little bit of like a look back at where I've been. Now, mind you,
Ooh.
I don't have all the content from when I was first streaming, but I do kind of like want to talk about where I've been and where I am right now, and also just kind of playing games and hanging out with people. So again, if you are interested in storytelling in video games, if you're interested in heavier topics like the ones we were talking today, I would appreciate a follow and you guys dropping in by the stream, because I talk about this type of stuff all the time. I talk about the stuff that I care about because it's all I can really do right now. If because all I can really do is talk about it and make people aware about the things that I am interested in or the stuff that I care about. So if you're interested in some heavier topics and are okay with them, please drop by. I would love to see you guys there. Other than that, I'm gonna have like a little bit of a break. I'm gonna have a break for about 2 weeks so I can relax after all my courses are done and I can enjoy Boston. And for anybody that's in Boston for PAX East, I will be there. Feel free to look for me there. I don't actually look all that different from my VTuber model. You can just slap some elf ears on me and some horns, and you'll probably you might find me wandering around PAX.
Nice. Also, go ahead and follow Caleb right here. I pinned the message there if you want to follow his Twitch. He streams. There you go, and all of his socials basically is on his card. Go ahead and check that one out. So yeah, thank you so much, Caleb, for joining me and taking time to join this podcast. It's been fun talking to you. And
yeah,
thank you so much. And to everyone listening right now and watching, so if you're figuring things out, switching paths right now, or you're just tired from being an adult 24/7, just know that you're not alone. Everyone is here. I'm here. Caleb is here. We can go ahead and talk about this kinds of stuff. So
yeah. If you guys need any tips on like what it's like to do a career shift, feel free to reach out to me because I feel like I'm an old man making a late career shift, but apparently it's not too uncommon nowadays. So yeah, if you guys need any tips on whether it's tips for writing, career shifts, or you just want to talk to me, feel free to reach out. I would love to talk to you guys more. I love engagement with the community. And Elena, I have one request for you, if we could. Could potentially we raid out to Cavalier? I've been trying my best to help out Mama Cav in her partner push, and so she is streaming right now.
Yeah, I would be happy to raid out. Also, because I do need to rest up everyone. So I think I do think that this is a good way. So I would like to just let you know. So don't forget to follow the show HR Connect. If you listened, once I posted this on YouTube, or if you have clips of us, make sure to tag us. Send this to a friend who needs a little more of, a wake-up call. No, not a wake-up call, but like, just conversations that you think that might help them. I'm here, Caleb is here. We'll give you some comfort, and we're ready to listen. So yeah, till next time, stay soft but strong, smart, and always take a break. Take your Kit Kat breaks, everyone. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. Buenas noches y hasta luego.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Let me go ahead and just I don't have a specific raid message right now, but I think that's fine. Let me go. Can you give her username, Caleb?
Yeah, I did. I just sent it to you now in DMs.
Perfect. All right, everyone. We'll be going off now. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will be streaming later because I still have my Baldur's Gate run, so with my friends. So I hope you guys stay tuned for later, and we'll be seeing you guys next time. So thank you so much. See you guys. Let's go raid. Okay,
Let's
I'm
go,
raiding,
everybody.
I'm raiding now. Wait. Oh my god, there you go. Wait. Search. Raid. There you go. Alright. See you. I'm starting the raid now. Oh wait, I follow her on Twitter.
Yep.
Wait,
Yes,
why
go.
are you
Let's go.
following her? There you go. Okay, let's go. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Where's my ending? There you go. Bye.